So
Pass the doobie to the right
we're
hand
rolling on
side.
the board, and then I'm gonna hit it on the. Then I'm gonna hit it on the Zoom room in a second.
You're gonna hit and quit it.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. And it takes me longer to quit it than it does to hit it.
Yes, because we're passionate like
Yeah. That's not what she calls it, but sure, let's go with that.
that. Sure, that does it.
I
On
like your
Friday,
train of thought.
I think on Friday after work, I'm gonna go down to the Spirit and just buy myself a bunch of white paint, some black paint, and just go with the corpse painting.
You know what? I'm just gonna Friday night. I'm just gonna get all hoard up and go to Tunes.
Also, there's these guys. And I'm looking to see if I no, it's inside here. There's this soccer company that, or this company that does like soccer jerseys and stuff. They're friends of ours through the podcast,
Yeah.
and they sent me their Halloween jersey. It's like it's orange. Everything's like in the creepy like 80s kind of style font.
Yeah.
And then the logo has bats, and then in the back they went ahead and put a 138 for the Misfits.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
then I'm gonna wear that for when we watch this movie, The Conjuring. That with the corpse painting, I'm just gonna be like, oh, what? This is just me.
So
This is how I chill casually, Betancourt after
hell
hours.
yeah, dude. Well,
I'll even put the black thing over here in the back so no one sees it, and I'm just like, I'm
you
just
just
chilling.
blend in. You only see
Yeah.
the white parts.
Oh, that'd be great.
I mean, that's the way everyone should want it, in Trump's America.
Oh yeah. There's no way around it.
Just
That's
showcase all the white.
yeah.
Just kidding.
Just keep it white. keep it white, yo.
White isn't. I always tell Steph when she talks shit about white people, I'm all, white isn't always right.
That's true.
And she, I love saying annoying shit to people. Oh, it's
And
great.
she should know she married a white man.
Yeah, I mean, she. Oh, well, I was gonna say. I thought you were gonna be like, well, she should know. She married you. I'm like, that's true. I am quite annoying, and I know I wear on people, but that's part of my. That's the.
That's what makes you.
That's what makes me me, and that's just Sometimes I'm an anchor, and sometimes I'm a ball and chain.
That's just your Slim Shady style.
Yeah. Well, me and him did both grow up in a trailer park, but
Mm,
I didn't grow up in Detroit.
okay.
I
And
grew up on Oakland Road in San Jose.
did your mom make spaghetti with ketchup?
No, but I did throw up mom's spaghetti once.
Uh,
I wasn't proud of it. I should have
it's
wrote a
okay.
song.
Should wrote a song
Could have
about
made
it
some
a bit.
fucking money, man. Maybe I could have been the first spaghetti guy.
And now look at
Sponsored by
him. Well,
Ragu.
no, I'm pretty sure Weird Al was all over it already.
Nah, yeah, dude. Parodies. Yeah. Well before my time or even Marshall Mathers' time. All right.
They
That
were
was my
all
weird
over
Trump
it.
whisper.
All right, I think
China.
Shine radical,
The way
rad.
he talks is so entertaining to me.
It really is, dude.
I don't
It
know if
really
I've ever
is.
heard someone talk like him.
China.
You know,
Uh,
George W. was pretty unique, but he mostly just sounded like a dumb Texan.
yeah,
Whereas,
but I would still rather go have a beer with George W. than Trump because I don't think Trump enjoys a beer.
I don't know what he enjoys. He seems kind of square,
Mm-hmm.
and Bush definitely didn't seem square.
No, like I hate you. Like I don't like your politics, but we're still gonna rage. But we're not gonna rage that hard because we know how much you rage.
Oh, dude, I have a funny feeling that motherfucker rages bad.
Oh, I know.
I mean,
But
I think blood spilled.
W is gonna he's only gonna be pushing like Budweiser. He's from Texas, and like Texans love their Budweiser, which is okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
we all
he's
gotta
probably
love
gonna offer
something.
he's probably gonna offer you some blow, and you're gonna be like, "No, bro, I'm not. Those days are over."
He's gonna offer you blow.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, definitely.
but
Because that
I
was the
don't know.
cool drug probably for him.
Yeah, in the '80s. Oh,
Yeah,
most
he's
def.
probably doing lines off like, dude. Okay, so you know how he was in like Skull and Bones and shit.
Yeah.
Did you hear that his grandfather, this is real, his grandfather stole Geronimo's skull from a museum and they like put it in their weird skull and bone shrine.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that super weird?
That's why would you do that?
I mean, like, they're doing it because they're like obsessively cultish and I guess they like weird shit, but I'm like, you're still like a person of authority that's stealing something?
Yeah.
Like,
And I
I'd go to
mean,
jail for that.
haven't they've ever seen any scary movie? That's like the principle of any fucking scary movie.
Take something that doesn't belong to you,
Yeah, especially from the natives.
or you don't say
Look
the
what happened.
words. Oh, that's true too. Oh, that's
Yeah.
perfect. We need to get into this. We're hyped, we're right,
All right.
and we're tight.
All
Are you
right. Let's
ready?
go. Yeah.
Well, hello, kitties. It's another week of
Hola.
Tales from the Head. And if you're listening to this, it's not that exciting because it just sounds like us in a tin can. But if you're watching it, then you're in for a treat.
If you're watching this, you're seeing us acting like idiots, our normal selves.
I,
If you're just
yeah.
hearing this is very awkward and you should probably fast forward for like the next 20, 30 seconds. For show.
But if you do that, just understand that there is a price. Nothing
That's
is
true.
free in life. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to keep it vague and mysterious. Just creep everyone out.
Oh, for sure.
So, Danny, can you please describe your mask for the young viewers that are a little unaware?
I have no idea what this mask is. It's kind of one of those that I got like last minute a couple years ago. Like you just go to like Walmart and you're like, oh, this one's for $3. It's cool. It's kind of like a skull and it's kind of silverish and like the you can still see my face, but it's supposed to be like hidden.
It is
Tell you
hidden.
one
Yeah,
thing,
it is
I
hidden.
definitely have taken this to a Raiders game.
Oh, it's perfect for that. It's silver.
Oh, dude, I've been stopped so many times to take pictures with people with like, oh, fuck yeah, Raiders, brother, yeah, and I'm like, okay, cool. But yours is actually way cooler, dude. I like yours a lot.
You don't. It's not a popularity contest,
Just
but
saying.
I'm I'm Skeletor because I made my costume this year. Well, I didn't make this. I bought it online. Skeletor from He-Man, and
Hmm.
yeah, he's pretty funny, man. He's a pretty goofy guy. If you ever have time going YouTube, you can literally type in Skeletor, best of Skeletor, and he basically. I've never watched the show, so I'm
Hmm.
pretty much the biggest poser. But I did grow up watching CKY, and Narkill, the band led by Brandon DiCamillo, had a song called Skeletor and Beastman, and that's how I was introduced.
Hmm.
And like I'm just this is what I'm gonna do, people. If I'm gonna identify a Skeletor for the month of October, then you need to respect that.
Yeah. No, I remember seeing He-Man like in the 80s. I don't remember it, but I remember seeing parts and pieces of it.
I don't think it
Um
aged well.
Yeah, same. But now, like, he's a meme. I'm constantly posting memes of Skeletor running away, like with the laughter.
Oh, dude, it's so
'Cause
good.
that's like my go-to meme whenever I go to like a group chat, kind of,
Oh,
start like stir the pot a little bit, and then I just run away.
dude,
Yeah.
hands down, from what I've seen on YouTube, he's the best part of that show
Oh yeah.
because he looks the coolest, and
Hmm.
he's a dick to everyone else, which is perfect because I don't really like He Man. He's kind of a dork, and he's got like
Hmm.
this weird like Karen Bob cut. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's
I'm
like
like,
his
dude, are
hair
you
does
gonna
not
like
fit
snitch
his
on some
body.
black people barbecuing in the park? What are you doing?
His hair does not fit his body though, because he has like a kind of like
Kind of a womany,
it
soft
rem-
features.
it's like a bowl cut, but
Yeah.
it's not as long, but it's not like shoulder long. It's like mid head. long, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
it's like 70s like I see a lot of 70s. It's a very 70s hairstyle.
Absolutely.
It's kind of
Yeah.
like I don't know, he'd be like a trucker in a movie in the 70s or something.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe it'd be a mullet. Maybe that's a bad example. I don't know.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm Skeletor and I'm probably not going to wear the mask the whole time cuz I feel like I'm in witness protection.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna take this off after I make this next point. I just want to give a shout out to my homies in Slipknot,
Oh, hell yeah.
and then the homies in like Ghost, and like
Oh, Ghost for sure.
all those bands that play like for 2 hours with mask, like the whole show.
Dude,
Like,
and since you said Slipknot, I actually took advantage of their mask sale.
hmm
They are selling or sold because they're sold out now. They're selling the masks from the last album they did,
uh-huh.
and I pulled the trigger and got a Jim Root mask. So
Oh, dude, Jim Root is my favorite Slipknot guy.
yeah, and you know what's cool about his mask?
The It's like
Uh
right now he
huh.
has like the half open mouth one,
Yeah.
right?
So you can breathe out of it.
Yeah.
But he's
No.
always been my favorite too. The only
Yeah.
reason I was Joey Jordison for Halloween for freshman year of high school was because it was the easiest, most affordable mask to make.
Yeah.
So I was like super stoked, and they were only $35. So I pulled the trigger,
Oh, that's a
and then the
deal.
next day I went on to look and see if because I was gonna get another one, and
hmm
it was sold out. I was like, damn, I did this right.
I mean, I feel like the best match for me was always Joey. I'm sorry, Jim Root.
Yeah.
Um, Especially like with that when his mask for like Iowa was just so wicked looking.
Oh, and
Like
yeah,
all the
dude.
masking during the Iowa,
Yeah, but his
like,
eyebrows were like scowled more,
yeah.
and I
It-
mean a fan favorite. Mick Thompson's always dope
oh,
looking.
it's just badass.
Yeah.
Because the dude without the mask already looks freaking like scary.
Oh yeah, dude, because he's this big burly guy.
Yeah, and then he puts on the mask and he got like those piercing blue eyes, and you're like, this fucker's gonna crash my skull right now.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? When I was growing up, I always thought he was the lead guitarist or he was like
Yeah,
the guy. But he's
yeah,
actually Jim Root's more of the writer and the player, I think. And I think Mick he's good too, but I think Mick like learns the shit and plays with him.
yeah.
But I think
Mick
Jim it's
also,
mostly like Jim and like Clown, I think, that write the music.
yeah. Well, with Mick, I was saying like, because it's like 2 o'clock in the morning and you need to wake up like in 3 hours, but you're like, oh, just one more YouTube video. I might as well
Uh-huh.
watch this half an hour documentary of Slipknot recording a video or recording an album.
Yeah.
And you're seeing Mitch like record his parts, and it's just so amazing. That dude's just like such a good
Oh, I know
rhythm
what you're
guitarist.
talking about. He's just like in the studio playing the
Yeah,
guitar, right? Like,
yeah.
yeah.
And he's just like in the zone, and I'm like, dude, this guy's so good. Like, it's not even like I'm not sure if the parts are complicated, but he just makes it look so easy. You're like, fuck, this guy's
Some
so
of them
good.
are. They're pretty fast. You know?
Yeah, that's what it is. And there's a lot of tremoline also when it comes to
Yeah.
picking.
A lot of quick
Um,
picking.
Also Sid. Sid Wilson always had
Oh,
like
the
badass
gas
the
mask.
DJ. Yeah. Joey was badass. Clown always. Well, I'm always been afraid of clowns. So clowns were always
My
been kind of
favorite
cool.
clown was the original. I think it's the
Really?
scariest one. I think it's the scariest one. The one off the first
Yeah.
record.
I think
The
because it's
smiling
just
one.
so. Yeah, because it's just so creepy. I always liked the one with the pentagram, but again, that was the
I think that's
Iowa
the
one.
Iowa one. The
Yeah, that's
Iowa
the Iowa
one
one.
the Iowa one is much more like
Metal.
yeah, it's like evil and gorier.
Yeah.
But the first one's so much more scary and classic.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%.
Plus, it
The
reminds
one.
me of the Spit It Out video they did, where it kind of was a whole play on The Shining.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Tell you one thing. I never liked with clown. I didn't like the one. I forgot for which album
Oh,
he
with the
did, but
bandage.
yeah, with the
Dude,
bandages and you just
it
see like
was
the nose.
volume
Yeah,
3. I didn't like
I,
that one either. I thought it
I
was
don't like that
lazy.
one. Um, and then yeah,
I think
does
my
anybody know what the
favorite,
fuck?
huh?
I was gonna say, does anybody know what the fuck the guy with the spike face does?
Yeah, he's a sampler.
And so what? You couldn't give that job to Sid.
Yeah, I don't know.
but
But
but you know what? Whatever.
no, I'm with you because you know what else he does? So he's the sampler slash. I think he's one of the percussionists as well.
Really? Okay.
I think it's mostly that guy Chris with the dildo nose. I don't even think
Hmm.
he's in the band anymore.
No,
I think it's like
some other
Sean
guy
and some
replaced
other
him now.
guy, V Man or something.
V Man is the bass player who took
Oh,
over
that's right.
from Paul
And
Gregg's side.
Tortilla Man is the
The
one.
tortilla, yeah, tortilla face man.
Tortilla. I call him Tortilla Boy because it reminds me of Pablo Francisco.
Yeah, and I think they confirmed that he's actually like one of the drummers or like a tech for what's his face? Corey Taylor's other
Oh,
band.
Stone Sour.
Yeah, Stone Sour. He's
Nice.
associated with him that way, so
Well, that makes sense because Jim Root. Well, I don't think Jim Root's in there anymore, but he was
no,
for a
he's not in
while.
that one either. So
All right,
Slipknot
mask.
though.
In the words of Future, mask off.
Let's take it
Oh,
off. All right, let me take mine off too. Jesus.
oh, geez, that was.
Ugh. Woo.
I don't know what's scarier.
Oh God.
Ugh.
Put my glasses on now.
Now I just look like a dork that lives in a castle.
You look like a poor man's Buzz Lightyear with that.
That's way better than what I was thinking. I'm like the fucking. I'm the Buzz Lightyear that hits the fucking railing and breaks his arm off.
I'll take that one.
And I won't go sailing no more. All right,
No,
that's enough.
but yeah, this vest is pretty badass though. You know, it's very yeah. I don't know what it is.
I'm surprised this is as big as it is. I didn't think it was gonna be. It's also like, listen to this.
Oh, just
It's solid, dude.
yeah.
Like,
Actually, I have two masks over here that I bought like 4 or 5 years ago. So you might know this, but I'm a huge fan of this band called Brand New.
yeah,
Yeah. And on their third album called The Devil and God Are Raging Inside Me, on their cover they have like a person like in a ghost, or not like a ghost, but it's like a witch ghoul kind of stuff
yeah,
mask, and then the one with a skeleton. Well, a couple years back they released those masks, but they're very like 70s and 80s Halloweenish masks where they're like plastic. So
yeah.
like if you fold them. So I have them. I
Oh,
still have them in
like
a
very
box.
thin.
Yeah, exactly. And I still have them there. I'm not sure. I should probably put them in the frame somewhere or something because I do love Brand New. But
Yeah,
they're in a box just hanging out there, and I think they're pretty. It's pretty cool.
that is cool.
It's a good thing.
I'm definitely gonna wear the Slipknot one. But I'm not. When I say wear, it's not like I'm gonna like wear it for like a long time. But I'm gonna try it on and play around with it. Look like a weirdo.
You're gonna try to play spit it out or like surfacing.
Dude,
You know what's
I wanted it. Oh, dude, surfacing. So, to anyone that doesn't like Slipknot, first of all, you came to the wrong place because clearly me and Danny like this stuff. But we're going to talk a little bit about it. So, it's a little nerdy time for some music. But
let's get nerdy.
the first song that I was exposed to by them, it wasn't even Wait and Bleed. Wait and Bleed was the second one, but that was the commercial. But
yeah, that was the commercial one.
because my buddy Dover at the time, who had Napster, and he would allegedly burn CDs, and we would buy the CDs from him. This is middle school, so statute of limitations doesn't even apply. So anyway, he's like, dude, check this out. Like, I don't think he said, dude, check this out, but I think he had like a list, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll try that one out. And then I picked Slipknot, and then when I went home, he's oh yeah, track 5, because I think Surfacing was track 5, because Wait and Bleed was track 4.
Yeah.
And this was the reason I know this, and this is what I miss about CDs, is that's how you knew what track was what. And nowadays, I don't know what track's what because all the names are already there.
Yeah.
But I always liked Surfacing just because it was so rebellious lyrically, and I was like 13, 14.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you can't go wrong with that. Plus the riff is so like evil and high-pitched squealy, and I don't know, dude. They were such a good band for teen angst and rebelliousness.
Mm-hmm.
Rebellion.
I mean, I'm a little bit more of a poser, and I do apologize. I wish I can find the person again who insulted, but at the time when Slipknot hit the scene, if you
Yeah.
will, I was already in high school. I was like deep in my pump and pop punk and punk rock and all this stuff, so I was all about that. And I remember hearing Slipknot and just hearing um not no, was it Spit It Out? Yeah.
Yeah. I
Uh,
think that was the first single.
no, then it wasn't. It wasn't that. Wait and Bleed. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Wait and
Wait and
Bleed was
Bleed.
the yeah. That's the one that was like being played. So I remember
Mm-hmm.
hearing Wait and Bleed. I'm like, all right, this is kind of like whatever. Like really, like they look scary, but their music is not really that scary kind of situation.
Yeah.
And I remember just not giving it a chance. I remember somebody in 10th grade was like, "Oh yeah, dude, Slipknot. You know, if you like Linkin Park and stuff, you'll love Slipknot." Blah blah blah. I'm like,
That's
no,
not even the same.
no, but I
High
think he
school
meant,
recommendations are the best.
but I think he meant it in a form where like
Like if
Linkin
you think
Park
that's
used,
heavy, yeah.
yeah. Well, Linkin Park was using a lot of like drum and bass, kind of like heavy
Dude, you know
on
what's funny though
the
is like
vocals. What's up?
Slipknot was way before Linkin Park.
Yeah, yeah,
But I know what you mean. I know what
yeah.
you mean because they do both have a DJ and they're both like new metal pretty much.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, and he's like, oh yeah, you're gonna love him. Like, sure. So he was telling me about it. I remember I was working at America, and some kid who's like 1 year younger than me. Oh, here I am, fucking this kid.
Yeah.
This guy I used to
Fucking
work
little
with loves
youngster.
Slipknot, and he had like a Slipknot patch in his backpack because you were cool if you had patches on your backpack.
Yeah.
And I remember he had like a Slipknot one, just the name Slipknot, and under it I put sucks. And I'm like, that was a dick move of me to do. Like,
Well, but it was funny.
yeah, it was funny. And then I essentially when Iowa came out and I read their article on Rolling Stone, I was like, oh shit, okay. Like these guys are like throwing up or like
Oh,
Jim
because yeah.
yeah, because they're playing like Ozfest at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And like they had like take off their like remove their
Oh,
masks
because
and
it's so fucking hot.
they'll just be puking all over the place and shit. So,
Yeah.
and then reading like their injuries and shit, I'm like, all right, I'll check it out. And then I remember listening to Iowa, listening to Left Behind, and
Oh
then
shit.
if you're 555,
Oh yeah.
sex, and new
Heretic
abortion.
Anthem.
Yeah,
That's what that one is. Oh, that one's
yeah.
good. Where it has the countdown in the beginning.
People equal shit.
People Equal
Like,
Shit's a good one. Dude, I am so nerdy and I love that record.
yeah. No, that record was so, and I'm like, okay.
That was one of the first
But
records that got me into metal too.
I think by that time I was already like transitioning to like more metal. From I
Yeah.
was removing myself from like the like pop punk and punk rock only and getting into like new metal. I was like already listening to fucking Korn and Limp Bizkit and all
Yeah.
that shit. So and then I went back to the first album and man, just remembering like that first like 6, 7 tracks on the debut album was just so fucking badass.
Dude.
Um
Yeah, those first two records, like
yeah.
heavy as fuck, man.
And I was lucky to see Slipknot last year. So I saw him last year and that was like maybe my third time seeing Slipknot. And I went with a couple of ex-coworkers and they're like, dude, I love Slipknot. I love their heaviest stuff, but I like it when it's just like when it's like a carnival songs, like a funhouse like music. And it made sense like when they just have like crazy effects going and like
Yeah.
airy riffs and it's kind of like slow but it's heavy and it's just like I
Yeah.
know exactly what he means with that. So yeah, Slipknot's a great band. Yeah, they're great. And you know what? Corey Taylor seems like a nice guy.
He does seem like a really nice guy.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say seems
I'm
because
not gonna
I'm pretty
like
sure
I'm not
he's
gonna
in the
like
church.
get into politics with him.
Yeah.
But I mean, and that's a dumb thing to say because let's be honest, who the hell wants to do that with anybody?
No.
It's not
You're
even like, oh, I wonder what that guy thinks about Prop 15. No one gives a shit what he thinks about Prop 15.
I wonder what this person thinks about the nomination of the new Supreme Court
Yeah.
justice.
I'm not really that thrilled, but maybe he has some insight.
Maybe he has a completely new perspective.
Yeah.
That would change
The
my
new
mind.
perspective is get a rope. No,
Yeah. No, don't do that.
no, don't do that. I'm kidding. You know where I got that from? It's from a Pace Bacane commercial from the from the 90s. It's
Really?
ridiculous. Yeah, it goes, the whole point of the salsa commercial is all, man, we ain't got no more salsa. And he's all, I got this salsa from New York City. And he's all, New York City. And then
Oh,
and then the cowboy's all, get a rope.
oh, dude.
Like he's gonna hang the dude because he's drinking New York City salsa. You don't do
I
that
know it.
in
I know
Texas.
exactly what you mean. I know exactly what commercial it is because everybody's like, oh yeah, from Texas or El Paso, Texas or
Yeah, because
something,
it's
and
from
then
El Paso. Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Paste
and he goes New
pecana
York
sauce.
City. Yeah, you
Yeah,
know
but
what?
he was like New York City, and then he was almost like
Yeah, they're gonna kill
get
him
a
or something.
rope. Yeah, like, but they're all in a campfire. Anyway,
Yeah,
that
I
was a
remember that
fun little
commercial.
sidebar.
Yeah, hey,
You know, time machine.
yeah, yeah.
Get in it every once in a while.
Other than that, what's up, dude? How's your week going?
Oh my god, I feel like every week I say this, and I'm like, oh, it was hard. But literally, we have like 3 drivers out.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't drive today. I drove Tuesday. I've been working like 12 hours when I got, because I got to go in, get everything ready for the guys, set everything
Yeah,
up, and then I go drive like they do.
yeah.
So I work 3 more hours than I work an
Because
11
you're
hour shift.
prepping the deliveries, if you
I'm
will.
doing my job plus their job. And then
Yeah.
I'm not, and then during the time I'd be doing my job in the office, I'm just driving and doing orders. So it's easier during work because all I'm doing is delivering, but it sucks because I'm out way later. Like Tuesday, I got off at about 9:40,
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't even get home till like 10:30, 10:40, and that's me driving pretty fast.
Yeah.
But like, so that's why like today I was happy because for a second I was worried because I was planning on doing this regardless because I hate rescheduling, and this week we really
Mm-hmm.
can't because Friday, I'm sure we all, it's Saturday's Halloween. There's just too much
Yeah.
going on. So I didn't want to reschedule this weekend, and I didn't want to just not do another one because we did that last week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's too easy to make excuses. Like, we're always tired. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I knew no matter how shitty of a day I was going to have, I was going to do this. And I'm glad we're doing it because it's a commitment. It's a commitment to ourselves.
Yeah.
It's a commitment to each other. It's a commitment to our listeners.
Well, you know what's funny, Coop? I was gonna bail on you today. Also, I was thinking about this all day.
That is funny.
I'm not
It
gonna
sounds
lie. I was
great.
like, man, I gotta bail
Yeah.
on Coop today because you know, this week and last week, the whole month of October, I've been feeling it. My
Yeah.
I'm thinking of things that happened a year ago and certain dates that are associated with what happened, in the month of October,
Right.
last year and the year before. And it brings up feelings. And, I do my whole thing where like I'm breathing, I do my breathing techniques, I try to meditate, but, it's still there. It doesn't go
Yeah.
away. So, like, this week and last week I've been waking up like with my anxiety attacks already. Like fucking first thing I do within I wake up is I'm already like my anxiety is already high up there or my stress is high up there. So I'm already throwing up. That's like the first thing I do every morning.
Damn.
Um just throw up and then I catch myself on Monday or towards the end of last week and I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna let it consume me because I was going through the whole. I'm just so tired all day. I'm feeling so
Yeah.
tired, and I just don't want to, no motivation. Like I have a bunch of work to do, and I'm like, I'll just push it off for tomorrow, or I'll just do it tomorrow. And this
Mm-hmm.
is just me knowing, like, no, I'm just is the certain things coming up again. So
Mm-hmm.
today I was like, no, I'm just gonna bail on Coop. At the same time, like, well, is that really gonna fix my problem? Like, am
Yeah.
I really gonna be working until like whenever we set up and we start recording. And so I'm like, no, it's part of, like, give your time some honest chance to work. And I did. Like I fill out my voting thing today, which, surprisingly takes like an hour to vote, if you do like your research for the props and
Oh
shit.
yeah. If you actually read,
Yeah. Rather than just like, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
fill it in.
No.
Fill it in. Fill it in. Yeah.
And then from there, like, So I'm part of the so I'm a teacher and I'm a high school teacher, but I'm also part of the counseling department. So like we've been writing letters of recommendations for like students who are like applying for college for next year.
Yeah.
And some are due this coming weekend, so they have to be submitted like ASAP for, to make sure everything's okay. But I was just so lost knowing like what the hell to do or anything. So
Yeah.
finally yesterday I spoke to my department head and I'm like, dude, I have no idea what the heck I'm doing. And they're like, all right. So they set me down and kind of explain it. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, cause I'm a visual learner. So I
Right.
had to like see it visually how it's done. So I started off with today. I got maybe halfway done through one, which is actually not so bad. Um, and then I figure, okay, tomorrow, as soon as I'm done with my meetings, that's gonna be my top priority. Just knock them out, and then like once you get one done, you
Hmm.
kind of know like what's. I think it's like the first one that's kind of like the hardest.
Yeah.
After that, you kind of just knock it out.
We
So
kind of have a routine you start to
yeah,
develop.
exactly. But it's just like finding information about this specific student, especially if it's a student that you never really like taught before, and you
Yeah.
have to go from like an
You
academic
shoot from the
perspective thing.
hip.
So yeah, so it's all like academic. Like, well, of course, I'm writing this on the letters, but you're putting like, well, you know, X, certain so and so is taking 3 AP classes out of his six classes schedule.
Yeah.
He's taking seven, all the stuff, or she's taking. So it's just that perspective, and it's just like it's not hard work, but it's tedious work.
Yeah. No, yeah,
Um,
you do so much of it.
yeah, and then top of that, like of course grading and prepping for like next week and stuff. So
Yeah.
it
It's
builds
always
up,
there's
but
always a lot going on.
yeah, but rather than like me like saying like no, like thinking like no, I'm just not gonna do it or something like doing hacking little by little out of it
Yeah.
rather than and seeing like before realizing I'm closer to done than where I was before. So, but yeah, it's definitely like I'm definitely catching myself in that situation, and I need to like not be not allow myself to get in that situation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I
Mhm.
struggled a lot more with last month
Mhm.
for the same reason. And
Yeah.
November's gonna be weird too because that was the month that we had the
Yeah.
service. So I'm sure and that was Thanksgiving was in that month and that was when I went to the ward place. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, I mean October's kind of a nice buffer month for me
Mhm.
cuz I just look forward to Halloween and then but it's been a very challenging month. Even
Yeah.
though I've felt mentally better than last month for sure.
Yeah.
Much more together in my happiness level, but my stress level this month with work has been pretty high.
Yeah.
So, if it's not one thing, it's another, and we just
Mhm.
got to work on that as well.
Yeah.
But at least it's work right at the moment, not life. Work
Mhm.
is easier. Once you leave, it's gone. So,
Yeah.
there's that. I'm happy about it. I'm happy it's just work and it's really just not like something that's going to continue to happen. It's just we got a bunch of people that want to get paid but don't want to work to get paid. So
Yeah.
they just don't show up and then we're short. But that's life. I mean, there's a lot of people in that boat and there's a lot of people in that situation. It's kind of odd when you're in a pandemic and people complain about jobs and then you got all these lazy fuckers. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I can only speak
No.
for myself, but it's like I see a lot of different things that aren't always the popular narrative,
Mhm.
and it's still true, man. There's a lot of people getting laid off. There's a lot of people in a bad boat, but there's a lot of opportunities for work right now, and it's not what you want to do. It's not probably what you went to school for, but when you're in a position where you need money and you need to feed yourself or your family, you got to make sacrifices, and
Yeah.
sometimes don't look at it as a step back. Look at it as a sidestep.
No,
You
and
got to
and
get
you
your
have
footing and you got to get back on track. That's all it
and,
is.
and you have to like check your ego also a little bit.
Exactly.
you're never too
I'm
good to
not
do
above
anything.
working at a grocery store. Like if I
Yeah.
need the money and they're hiring, like if I need the
Hmm.
money, dude, I gotta hustle. And that's the thing I respect about the Mexican community, because every Mexican I've worked, every hardworking, respectable Mexican I've ever worked with, they're always like that. Work is
Yeah.
important because they need the money to feed. It's always about supporting their family. I've
Yeah.
always respected that. It's a very old school, respectable mentality.
Hmm.
But I've noticed like Mexicans like legitimately are like proud of hard work, and I love that because I'm inherently lazy. So
Yeah.
I that helps me coach myself up to be better, you know?
And it's funny you say that because I remember I went to Walmart once. And I don't like going to the one closest to my house.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm too bougie for that or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, certain people go
You go
to
to the
that
nicer one.
that yeah. So I go to like I go to the one Milpitas
Oh yeah,
rather than the one
McCarthy.
here. Yeah, than the one here in like East San Jose.
Yeah.
So I go to the one Milpitas and like it because it's much cleaner,
Mhm.
and I always like that's more organized. And I went once with my sister, and I was telling me, you know what it is? It's because people, the one in Milpitas, or a lot of them are Filipinos,
Yeah.
older Filipino people, and I'm like, it's people that take pride in their job,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
and that shows, and that comes off in the quality, and it reminds a lot of like my dad, who
Mhm.
takes, and my parents who take
Yeah.
very pride of their work and stuff. So it definitely shows off, and I always respect that. Like,
Yeah.
people just take pride in their work, regardless if it's just you're a cashier at a Target or
Right.
you're doing whatever. I remember one of my cousins once told me, he's like, "Hey man, as long as you work a job that is honest, that is honest money, and you're not
Mhm.
selling your ass in the street,
Yeah.
like you should be proud of your job." And I'm like, yeah, it's at the end of the day, I'm not above like working
Yo, I'm
at
not above
any type.
selling my ass.
I'm not. Well, I have no
I'm
ass to
just kidding.
begin with, so
Well, that can change. They
I
have
know my market. All right,
yeah.
I know my market. So, but yeah, dude, I think just taking pride in your work is always very important. And I think when you take pride of your work, and it kind of ties back to what we've been, what we're dealing with. When you take pride in your work and you look back and say, like, yeah, I did like an honest day's job,
Mhm.
yeah, the stress and the anxiety associated with that kind of goes away because you're like, well, I did my best. I gave it honestly my 100% best.
Right.
And, that's what you're proud of at the end of the day, you know?
Yep. And then it's like on to the next thing, right?
Mm. Exactly. Exactly.
I was thinking about something today. I it was one of my moments where I was on my little my lunch smoke break at work, and
Hmm.
yeah, sometimes I get like high thoughts. But
Yeah.
today's little mantra thought that I came to my head was, um, it's great to hang out in the past, but you can't live in it.
Yeah.
And I love reminiscing. I love nostalgia, but
Hmm.
then enjoy it. Don't dwell, because that I
Yeah.
always, and we've talked about this in past ones. But it's like it's so easy to be like, "Oh, I wish it was like before." But that's such a toxic mindset. So
Yeah. It really
I kind of
is.
like that mantra. I'm just kind of keeping it, and it's definitely more for me than anybody, as I feel like most mantras that you develop or say should be. But I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool. I'd put it on a fortune cookie. So
Hmm.
I was like, yeah, that's not bad. But
No,
it pretty much sums up like a
no,
lot.
but I 100 agree with that. With my ex-girlfriend, I remember when shit was hitting the fan, and once we're over, we're having conversation, and she goes, "You know what, Danny? I wish she would have met me X amount of years ago. I forgot what date. When
Right.
if you love me how I am now, you would have fallen in love with me for who I was. I was much happier. I was this. I was that." And And I'm like, no, because then you wouldn't be the person that I
Yeah.
know now. You would have
Right.
been this completely different person. And something it's kind of those, when like you reflect on certain things, like, man, I wish I would have said this or that.
Right.
But same thing, like you just said, like, I always wanted to tell her, it's like, you cannot live in the past. You can never be the same person that you were before
Mm-hmm.
because you're not. We can only move forward. We cannot move
Right.
backwards. So
Exactly.
you can reminisce and, oh, like, oh, I wish I was like how I was before. You never are gonna be like it was
No.
before. You have to learn from that experience and move forward.
Yeah, and cherish
And
what you had, and yeah.
exactly, and learn from the past.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so in a way, yeah, of course, everybody wish they lived like I was before, and everybody was friends, or everybody used to hang out like we used to, like the good old
Yeah,
days, and
but like
yeah,
you
do
said, I
stuff.
mean, dude, we all, even people that aren't going through the same life changes or things as you, like, we're all still not the same as we were even 10 years ago, no matter what age you are now. I think every
Yeah,
10 years you somewhat change, and, you know, and I'm not even saying for better or for worse, but you just change. Like, everyone just
no,
could be either way, but, we're working on the better part.
yeah, and I mean, you have to evolve. That's
Yeah.
the one trait
Yeah.
as humans is we have to adapt. We have to
Adapt or
evolve.
die.
Yeah, we have to accept these changes, and at the end of the day, you have to accept that there's certain things out of your hands that are going to happen that you cannot control.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you just let those things like run its course and take their own natural manifestations, not to dwell on it, it's like, oh, I wish I would have done something different or something, like there's not it was going to happen one or the other.
Yeah.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but to quote freaking Casablanca, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon and for the rest of her life. Eventually, something's gonna happen, and what would have seemed so small in particular will be something huge. So
Yeah.
yeah, you can't live in the past. Or say it one more time. What you said, you can't
So I
dwell
say
on the past.
oh yeah, it's fun to hang out in the past, but you can't live in it.
Exactly.
Or
Exactly.
it's maybe that's not fun, but you can hang out in the past, but you can't live in it.
No, and it's true. You can.
Yeah.
Um.
I'd also
So
put some numbers on there, and I'd
yeah.
obviously learn a word in Chinese to make it a full fortune.
I mean, pick 7 random numbers.
Yeah. And
Uh,
then just be
there you-
like like the word. Dude, I'm like, you do that, you read it and you're like trying to
yeah,
pronounce it the way cuz it's cool. They do phonetics, so you can be
yeah,
like, "Oh, I don't know what that means."
yeah.
Which I don't. I don't know how to
The
read
character,
Chinese.
I can't.
So,
The only thing I know in Chinese is 谢谢, which means thank you.
right, and that's not even like I can't write though. I can't
Yeah,
read it.
I
I
can
don't
I
even
can
know.
understand.
Yeah, and like if you told me something, I know gung hei fat choi, dude. That is
Uh-huh.
probably all I know.
Yeah. What was that? Happy New Year's?
Yeah.
Oh, I
And
know.
then I got a good I got the most I got some Spanish ones, but the first Spanish one that comes to my mind is always going to be Donde está la biblioteca.
Okay, where's the library? Right on.
I don't know if I'm ever really going to need that, but
Yeah.
I
I mean,
remember it.
and then somebody in Spanish will be like, Google it. Just Google it.
Google it. You don't even need to go to the library.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Google it.
Well, that's what I was
Uh,
thinking too. I'm like, you don't even post COVID. They might not even be library. No, they're gonna have virtual ones with Kindles or something. I don't know.
yeah. And I mean, when the hell am I gonna tell a Chinese person shit? I don't want to be
Never
that
say
person.
never.
I don't want to be that person at a Chinese restaurant when they bring me something and I'm gonna go shit, like,
Yeah,
because I
but
hate I hate
I
when
know.
white people do it
Well,
to
that's what I
like
was gonna say. But you're not
gracias.
white, so you'll probably get away with it.
No, because that's just being hypocritical.
Oh, totally.
If I'm gonna shit on white people for like saying gracias after the waiter brings them freaking their margaritas or something, I'm not gonna say that. That's just hypocritical.
So yeah. So I don't do that, and it bugs me too. But like, when is it acceptable? Not when you're at Chevy's Fresh Max, but probably when you're at like
Rest in peace,
a
Chevy.
taqueria with a number after the letters. Then you could maybe say gracias and it won't seem so racist.
Listen, the only time you say gracias is if you order the whole thing in Spanish.
Yeah,
Or
because
okay,
it does seem condescending.
or if they yell out, number 57, 57, 57, and then you go up, you give your number, then they're gonna ask you, "Oh, you want some hot sauce or get gusta salsa?" And you're gonna say, "Sí."
I'll be like, no mames, way.
Claro, güey. And then yes, you can say, when they pick up, "Oh, muchas gracias," and then that's it. And I think that's appropriate.
And then I'll be
You
like,
know,
de nada.
yeah, de nada, joven. And that's it. But
Dude, that bugs me too. And
I think that's the only appropriate time when you're gonna pick up your food, and it's just gonna be small talk. Then you can say gracias. But don't fucking place an order and then be like gracias.
Gracias, Miguel or Guillermo.
I was gonna say Carlos, but Miguel's so much better.
Guillermo's one of my favorites. Miguelito.
Yes.
I don't know, dude. Now I'm just getting weird. But if I was going to identify as a Mexican man, I don't know what my name would be. I'd reinvent myself. I don't think there's a Mexican word for my name. Well, definitely not Cooper, but there's no Mexican word for Ryan, name for Ryan.
No.
I don't think there is.
No. And
but it's also not a very Latin name at all.
Well, you'd be surprised.
I mean, I know there are people, but I'm saying lineage-wise, that name is definitely not Hispanic.
No, it's definitely, it's not Hispanic. And as a teacher teaching at East San Ho, there's different variations of how people spell Ryan and Brian.
See,
I can say that much.
Brian, I get. Ryan makes no sense to me how there's variations.
Just the way to spell it.
No, I get that, but it doesn't make sense. Because how else do you spell it? Rian?
I like I said, I've seen.
What have you seen? Because I got to hear. I've never seen any other Ryans beside Ryan.
Okay, you know what? I like. There's only one Ryan who I taught, and he spelled it, Ryan. But with Brian's,
Brian, yeah. There's a Y or an I.
Yeah, if I see Brian.
Because if you're a Ryan with an I think you just deserve to get kicked.
A Ryan with an I, Rian?
I don't like it.
No, you just know.
Like, just stop. Recreate something. Become someone else.
You know what really pisses me off? And I'm sorry if I'm about to offend.
No.
First off, I offended. I'm sorry if I offended you if you are named Brian or Ryan. It's not my intent. I'm just telling you how I
Be more mad at your parents for naming you that.
Yeah.
Or,
be proud about it. Fuck it.
Or be proud.
Yeah.
But don't give them credit for it.
Yeah. Own it. But people have like last names for first names. And then vice versa. People have like first names for last names. Like people who are like what their last name are like Travis. Like I remember middle school, I knew a couple of people who
Randy Travis.
Yeah. Actually I have one of my teachers, one of my coworkers, a good friend of mine. His last name can definitely be a first name also.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and it's so hard to call him by his first name because you think his last name is his first name.
Yeah.
But like people who go by like name of like Jefferson, Lincoln,
Yeah.
Like, and that's always been like a trip for me. Like you're gonna have two different last names. Like it's weird. Like Jefferson Anderson.
Yeah, but then to be fair, the Latin community has about 6 names on their birth certificates.
You know what? It's true, except
maybe 7.
It's true except for me.
You only got 3?
No, I only got 1.
No, I mean all your names.
Yeah. No, my
just
legal
first
name.
And the last?
Yeah, my legal name is just Daniel Betancourt.
You don't have a middle name at all.
I don't have a middle name.
Dude, that is so cool. That's like the closest thing I'm going to get to meeting someone that's like Seal.
And it's funny because like people always try like, oh, what's your middle name? Oh, it has to be
Dude,
like,
but
and they
you can
throw
make
like,
your own middle name if you
I
wanted.
could.
What's the point? It costs money.
God knows how many middle names like fake middle names I've given,
Oh,
but
dude,
like
that's even better. Just never do it and just always tell someone whatever it is.
it's different. No, people like trip out, and I'm like, no, it's just Daniel
That is
Betancourt. And
so cool. I hella respect that.
yeah, and then in Spanish, so I'm like, if I meet a pale skin brother, I go with Daniel Betancourt. If I'm meeting a brown folk and I'm really trying to kick my, I'm really trying to emphasize that I'm a Chicano, then I go with Daniel Betancourt.
Oh, you
That's
don't
the
even pronounce the T.
no, it's a different pronunciation
It's
in
almost
Spanish.
French. It's not.
And then when I'm in Mexico, um, so in my Mexican birth certificate, because I have dual citizenship,
Yeah.
in Mexico, you add your mom's maiden name,
Right. As your
and
middle name.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, in
Or whatever
Mexico,
name.
here to do it in the middle name so you can add it. In Mexico, I just have both last names. So
Oh,
in
okay.
that
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
that case, yeah, I'm Daniel Betancourt Estrada.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
Now that makes sense. Well, with my kids, we did Steph's maiden name as their middle name.
okay.
Of course, my two sons have two first names because we're
Mm,
rebellious like that.
yeah, of course.
People are like, no, that's so they have a middle name. I'm like, yeah, they have a middle name, but that's not their middle name. They have two first
Yeah.
names, then they have a middle name, then they have. It's crazy,
Then
but
it's the last name.
we wanted to. I wanted to as well keep her lineage with my kids,
Mm-hmm.
um, because one, we like tradition, and I always feel like it's in Hispanic culture, whether it's Mexican, Spanish, Central American, Filipino, it's common that the middle name or part of your name, like you were saying, is your mother's
Yeah.
maiden name
Right.
because you normally take on your father's name.
Mm-hmm.
And I like it because it's kind of like it's representing your family tree, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of I always thought it was cool, kind of a tribute to your folks.
Yeah. No, and it's cool because like especially like in the small town, I say, well, luckily like our last name is not so traditional that like in the town I'm from, they're like, oh, you're a Betancourt. Oh, okay.
Right.
Like they already know who I am. But then I can also throw in the Estrada part and they're like, oh, you're oh, so they know like my mom's side of the family. So
Yes, now they kind of know, oh, okay, we know all your stuff.
yeah, like, oh, we
We
know
know
you're from
you.
this guy. We know exactly who's your dad and who your mom, just based on your like two last names. So,
Yeah. That's cool
um,
though.
yeah, I don't know how with like if I ever have kids or anything, like what their last name's gonna be. Like if I'm gonna, obviously I want them to have my last name,
Yeah.
but like maiden name, middle name, or like if it's gonna be like the hyphen with
Oh,
both
dude, I
last
mean,
names or something.
yeah, well, don't beat yourself up. I mean, sometimes you don't even name kids until they're born.
Yeah,
We didn't do that, but some people do. There's nothing
yeah.
wrong with that. Cuz sometimes I feel like
No,
people want inspiration,
yeah,
you
and I
know.
feel like sometimes the best names come like in the very last minute.
Yeah. That's true cuz you're going to change your mind a lot. Chances are
Yeah,
your first idea probably wasn't the one you went with
exactly.
cuz I'm for sure Damon was supposed to be Leo. I liked
Uh,
it.
yeah,
But I like Damon. I don't know, something cool about it.
yeah. Well, it's
But
the
yeah,
omen.
and it's different. Not a lot of people have that name. I
Yeah.
thought that was interesting. But anyway, this week we're talking about not necessarily debunking, but we're just going to discuss some myths surrounding masculinity. Now, this isn't just going to be me regurgitating some information off the internet. I mean, partially, yes, but I'm not going to be just plagiarizing what this person wrote. I'm actually going to cite what I'm talking about right now. It's called The Five Myths of Masculinity. I'm sure there's more than that. But it's from apparently from a I think it's from Christian Living magazine, so bear with us.
Yeah,
Um
that is correct.
it could be from I'm not
It's
saying There's not a synagogue out there with some myths. Okay, I'm not saying there's not a mosque,
What is
but
this place? I'm looking. Oh, the Christian Broadcasting Network.
CBN. So I know CBN is something completely different. It's actually an active ingredient in cannabis that makes you tired.
Mm.
There you go. So I'm a stoner. That's where I went. This is relating to Jesus.
Yeah, which can also put you to sleep. I'm sorry, I don't
Which,
want.
which according to some
No,
people could also be considered a myth. Just kidding.
that's true. That's true.
Not gonna go down that road. I know I
We're
got a
not
lot of
gonna
haters.
go down that.
Sorry,
I'm
sorry.
sorry. We're sorry. We just
I'm doing a lot of blaspheming right now. I gotta be
hey,
careful.
hey, we're a holes like that. We just like to
Yeah.
piss people off sometimes,
So we're
but we
just
respect.
trolling. We love
Yeah,
everyone.
whatever makes
Sometimes.
you a better person, we 100% support you
Well, yeah,
to an extent.
to an
To an
extent.
extent, yes.
It made me a better person. Like some asshole. Crazy fuck. Like, no. We didn't vouch for that guy. That guy's
No,
doing some weird shit. We didn't. No,
no, we
we
don't
don't
got that
endorse
dude's back.
that.
We don't support that dude.
Yeah.
Oh, side note, and I know hopefully anybody who's from San Jose knows this. There's this guy in East San Jose. I haven't seen him in a couple of months, but usually there's this guy in East San Jose, like in the corner, and he's just dancing. He has like headphones on, and he's always dancing, and he has like the Bible like raising high. And I'm like, dude, I want to know what that dude's listening to. Like,
You know what it
I wish,
probably is, dude.
what?
We hope it's something. I mean, this is how I feel. I shouldn't say we. I hope it's something normal music wise, but realistically, it's probably some weird gospel church music.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's like some
I
really
want it to
cheesy.
be like, I don't know, some 1980s new. I just want it to be something like Naked Eyes, always something, always something there
Something there
to
to
remind.
remind me.
Do-doom, doom,
Yeah.
do-do-do-do-doom. And I could just picture like that hobo dude. Like, that's what
put
I
a
want.
pin, put a pin on that. I gotta go back to that song you just brought up. But see, and I know it's like some cheesy Christian song about praising,
Yeah.
the Lord and
And then
stuff
when
like
they
that.
do
I know.
this and they close their
Yeah.
eyes,
And they
I
kind of go
hate
like,
that so much.
oh,
So bothersome.
I get it's not my thing, but that's cool. Whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
I do that. Anthony Green is singing with Circle Survive, and my hand is up.
Yeah.
It's the same
You just
experience.
don't, you can't do this. You can't,
No,
gotta do up,
no,
not,
no, no.
yeah.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Sends
It
the
has
wrong
to be up.
message.
It has to be up.
Because
Yeah.
see, when you can't see your hand, so it kind of looks.
Yeah. No. We're not. We're not doing that one. Absolutely not.
Oh,
Um.
but yeah,
Absolutely
definitely
not.
not. If you
But
haven't seen American History X, no, I'm kidding.
I wish, low key, he was listening to like August Burns Red,
Yeah,
or like Haste the Day. This like
Haste the
Christian,
Day. I
like
remember
some
them.
Christian metal band, dude, and I'd be like, fuck, I want ends on that. Like, hell yeah, I will knock a person down in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ in the mosh pit of
I'll
August
be like,
Burns
I
Red.
will knock a person up in the name. And
Yeah. And then, I'm sorry again.
no,
I'm
no,
sorry.
that's not what you said. I said that to
You
play
knock him
off of
up,
your
but
words.
no, but I'm sorry. I do love August Burns Red though. I do love that middle band. But dude, okay, side note. I was in Denver 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks
Yeah,
ago. And we got a rental. The guy, I just wanted like a small car,
right.
it's super cheap, whatever. The guy's like, "Oh, dude, you came on the wrong weekend. Like everybody and their mamas was like in Denver. It was like first week of October, so like it took me like 2 hours to get my fucking car from a rental place. It was
Yeah.
just a fucking mess. Um, Prices were super high because people were fucking renting, whatever. And I'm like, dude, I just want a fucking small, economical, get on gas, whatever. The guy's like, well, I can get you a good deal, for $50 more a day. I can get you a Forerunner. And I'm like, fuck it, yeah, give me a Forerunner.
That's
you know,
tight, dude.
V6, whatever. He's like, well, if you're gonna go up to the mountains, you need those extra horsepowers. I'm like,
Well, that's true. You wouldn't want to be taking a fucking shitty little
fucking
compact car through the
Ford
mountains.
Fiesta going up the fucking
Can't do
Rocky
that. You'd
Mountain.
kill
Yeah, you're
yourself.
right. So I'm like, once he said that, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. It's cracking it, but I'm not getting insurance though. Well, anyways, I turned on the car, and whoever was driving the car before me, or whoever works at the Avis or whatever, I
Right.
guess, or at the car rental, they had like on Sirius, they had because this car was fully loaded. Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't a Forerunner because the dude changed. Was like, oh no, it looks like somebody took it, so he gave me a Ford Explorer, which is all right, cool.
Yeah, that's not bad.
My brother drives one, so I knew exactly how they drove. So it's
Yeah.
just fucking fully loaded. On the XM radio, they had like the '80s new wave,
Right.
so it was nothing but like always something there, and then
Yeah.
like hey 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 hey, you know, it was like
Yeah.
just fucking jams.
Oh, you're
To
talking Rick
back.
James?
Yeah, no, it was
Hey,
the
hey, hey,
don't
hey.
you
Oh,
forget
yeah,
about
yeah.
yeah. You know, Joy Division and Love will tear us apart.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was
I
like,
love the 80s stuff.
dude, I love it. And it was like I think it was called like New Wave, whatever. And the whole like weekend, I'm like, fuck. Thank you, whoever was driving this car before me, because they
Yeah.
had great taste in music. It was just like
Dude,
the 80s new wave, and it was just amazing.
to go with your side note, and then we'll get back on.
All
Because I
right.
love the side notes. One of my favorite grooves from that era is a song by Gary Newman called Cars. You know the one goes,
Oh.
here in my car. I
Oh
feel
yeah.
safe. But dude,
And
you hear the
cars.
bass line and the rhythm to that part? Oof.
Doon 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 doon.
Doon, 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 doon,
Doon
doon,
doon
doon.
doon
But then
doon.
you got the synth in the background. Dude,
Yeah.
all I'm saying is you put that on with some headphones, turn the bass up a little bit. That is a groove that makes you want to dance.
Let me change my light a little bit.
And that's a good point. You want to dance and you want to remind yourself that you could have been a Coke baby.
Yeah.
You know, we could have all been Coke babies.
Here in my car.
I do Coke all the time. Snorting it on the center console. It's mine in my car.
In a car. Bam. Bam. You
Doo-doo.
know,
Yeah.
last side note, and then we'll go. We were LA won. The Dodgers won yesterday. The
There
World
you go.
Series.
Congratulations, Dodger
Thank you.
fans. Mostly Danny and
Yes.
Juan and Ryan.
And
That's
Ryan.
about it.
Yeah. All my friends and stuff. But I remember like, you know, they every time LA wins, they play the I love Randy Newman.
Oh,
I
yeah, yeah, yeah.
love,
I
we love
love
it.
LA.
Yeah.
Like, whatever, dude.
Um
Just kidding. Just fucking with you. Keep going.
rolling down Imperial Highway.
Fucking Randy Newman's so corny, though.
He's so fucking badass though.
I know. It's Toy Story,
I
but
was watching the video and I'm like, this guy's so fucking that music video is so fucking 80s. Like
oh,
it's just
dude.
like
The piano songwriters in the 80s, like Bruce
Yeah.
Hornsby, their music videos are ridiculous.
fucking Joel.
Oh, Billy Joel? Yeah.
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 But yeah, Randy. Yeah, I was seeing that video and I'm like, fuck, this is hella corny, but it's hella fucking hard, baby.
Dang, dude. LA is killing it with sports this year.
Dude.
The Lakers win the championship.
Yeah.
The Dodgers win the championship.
What's that? Well, no,
The Rams
no more
ain't
for
going to win the
hockey.
fucking
Yeah.
Super Bowl. But you never know. Don't ever say never. But
But
I'm
they
going to
do
say
have a new
this. If the
stadium.
Rams win, and that's a really nice stadium.
Yeah.
If the Rams win, that is some crazy statistics. That I don't know if that's ever happened before.
Well, the next
three teams, though?
Well, here's the thing, because MLS is still going, the Major League Soccer. I
So
know.
how's the Galaxy, though? Are they looking good?
No, Galaxy is shit this
Well, that's
year.
what I meant. Like, they're not going to win.
But there's this other team, LAFC. Their stadium is right smack in downtown LA. And they're like looking really good. And they're like a high favorite. So
damn. Well, hopefully.
I mean, no one will really care. But you know what? LA, I think, will just look at any excuse to fucking blow some fireworks and do donuts.
Another side note to add to it. Because it's just, there's so much in LA right now.
Yeah.
So I saw a video and
It's so hot right now.
Yeah. Block is hot. And I saw a video that probably wouldn't be funny to a lot of other people, but I thought it's funny because I'm sadistic. And
I might find this funny.
Yeah, no, you might, and I'll share it with you later. But it's a post from like 2 nights, or not 2 nights ago. 2 nights ago. I think that's when the World Series ended, right?
That
Tuesday
was
night or Wednesday?
Tuesday, yeah.
Tuesday night, yeah.
Yeah, it was Wednesday. So yeah, it was yesterday.
So they're like at an intersection, right? And they're in a Jeep. And
Yeah.
clearly it's a family. I mean, you can't tell it's a family. You don't see the dad, but I'm assuming the dad's drunk driving
Mm-hmm.
because they're peeling out in it's a red light. And then the
I know
mom's in the
exactly.
sunroof trying to grab the daughter. The daughter's beer slides off because the dad guns it. She falls off. She's like,
Yeah.
She falls off, bonks her head, and just lays limp on the ground. I thought it was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Bro, it's funny. I'm pulling it up because I literally share that in my Instagram.
Yeah, but it's
Like,
funny because in the video you just hear him go, ooh. Everyone goes like E40,
so,
ooh.
ooh. So, let me show. So, uh, oh, that's Dave Grohl. Okay, we were talking. No, that's the L3 pod.
That's the
Okay,
L3. We'll get
okay,
to
here we
it.
go.
There we go.
There it is.
There's the Jeep.
Yeah, I literally, yeah.
Yeah, play it like that because I don't think it'll get taken down. Yeah, and there she goes. And night, she's asleep.
Hey,
I like how they creep over too. They're not like really rushing.
Yeah. No, and there's a guy with like a white shirt who's still recording.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But
he's still recording
there were people, because I'm the kind of guy that does a little, I didn't write any comments. I'm not going to troll on this one.
Yeah.
But some person, of course, there's always that person that's like, this girl fell on her neck and potentially has spinal damage and brain damage. I'm like, first of all, you're not a fucking doctor.
Yeah.
So you don't know, but sure, probably. But listen, if you're going to go out and hang around with some crazy people, whether it's your family or not, and you're not going to fucking be a normal person and ride in a car, you want to ride on top of one, you might fall off. So instead of just bonking your head on the floor, maybe catch yourself, clumsy. Huh? How about that?
No, and it's just like, she got her, whatever. Yeah, that's, you know what? That's what's funny though.
Exactly.
Because this is my thing. Nobody told her to do that. Nobody told her to freaking climb on the roof and fucking not hold on to something.
I dare you.
No one told, like, yeah, you're celebrating your daughter. Cool. I'm right there with you.
You know what?
But I'm not going to be fucking Teen Wolf fucking riding.
Yeah. What are you doing? But then, dude, okay, so the third time I watched it, I was like, what fell? And dude, it was her drink.
Yeah,
she had like a can of beer or something, and I was laughing because I wanted to write a comment like, "Oh, too bad the beer fell."
Yeah,
like, "Oh, too bad you spilled beer," just to be insensitive.
Everybody who's been commenting on it, like on my Instagram post.
Yeah,
they've been going like, "Oh man, she dead," and I'm like, "Oh, but you know what? You know when she fell, her back must have cracked so nice. It's like the most relaxing crack. I wish.
But she didn't even enjoy it because she was knocked out, so she didn't even get to enjoy the.
I wish somebody could just crack my back.
Oh my god!
And I could just like.
I wish I wish someone could Leonidas kick me in the back.
And I could just be like, ugh.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think you're right. I mean, skip the chiropractor. Just jump off a Jeep.
Get fucking power bomb off a fucking Jeep.
Just get German suplexed by grandma right off the Jeep.
RTK off a fucking Jeep. Oh god.
Oh, dude, that's so good. These sidebars, by the way, are probably much better than what we're about to talk about. This 100%. Is why I'm glad we're just letting it happen.
Oh, but yeah, no, that video was fucking hilarious. The last one, and then we'll get back.
No, I just keep saying that because I'm loving every minute of it.
Because I love my people.
Loving every minute of it.
And I love my Mexican paisa people. I'm
sensing a butt.
There's this video, the same thing, like they're celebrating, and they're lighting off fireworks like an intersection, and there's this car doing donuts. It's always a fucking Mustang for some reason.
Yeah.
They're doing donuts and fireworks are going off. And like the eye in the sky, Channel 5, whatever is recording this. And dude runs over a firework and it sets his car on fire, like the back tire on fire.
Yeah.
And the guy's still doing donuts because he has no idea that his fucking tire is on fire. And everybody's trying to stop him. And then like the guy in even the guy in the news anchor or whatever, he's fucking laughing. He goes, he's like, "Oh, it's on fire." He doesn't know. He's like laughing. And then finally to stop it. It looks like they, it didn't catch on fire or whatever. It's just like a fucking flare or something.
Right.
But somebody took that video and then they added the "I love LA"
Oh
like
yeah.
sample on top of that, and I'm like, fuck! If anybody hears this, if somebody can get all like these failed compilations of like the Dodgers winning, and if they can put it to Randy Newman's "I Love LA," that'll be fantastic. Like
Yeah.
just people like falling off like windows and like getting like fights, break because there's must have been like 50 fights that broke out yesterday for no reason.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like fights and just put that song like I love LA. We love it, that's
Because I don't
gold.
think you could get. Yeah, how many times has someone gotten their nose broken to a Randy Newman song? That's true.
Yeah. Well,
It's pretty. It's not like you're like, all right, man, we're gonna go down to the bar and we're gonna kick some ass.
it
So when we
happens
get down
now.
there, before I throw the first punch, just make sure you cue up Randy Newman.
That's all we want. And you know what? A lot of people say, and they're like, "Oh man, Dodger Stadium, I will never go there. Their fans are fucking animals." Blah blah blah.
They are though.
You know what?
I'm just kidding.
You know what? The times I've been there, dude, it's been so awesome. Like everybody literally is like family. Like
Yeah.
as long as you're a Dodger fan, you're all family. You
Well, I
come
mean,
in
yeah, I
there-
wouldn't. And see, that's the cool thing. As long as you're pretty much not a Giants fan.
Yeah, and even then, you can be a Giants fan,
Yeah.
but don't be a dick about it.
Yeah, because you're in the enemy territory. You got to kind of be.
Yeah.
You got to be selective.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna get some heat. You're gonna get a lot of heat. You're gonna get a lot of fucking
Yeah.
hate.
Of course.
But just like,
But you
just
should,
take it
because that's like
advantage.
you won it 3 times, and
Mhm.
they've only won it once.
Yeah.
So
So
they got to get a few
And-
more in.
in the last 10 years. So
Right.
but I remember yeah, I remember just one time we went, okay, last one, then we'll move on. I promise.
Like I said, I just keep it going.
We went down to LA for Juan's, my brother's birthday, and it was a Giants versus Dodgers game.
Uh-huh.
So it was awesome. We pulled up, we parked, but the way they were parking us, we were like way too close to like another car.
Yeah.
Because it's just like it wasn't like you can
Oh,
see
you're
the
saying.
beach.
Oh, you're saying on the sides
Yeah,
where you get
like-
out.
Yeah, exactly. Like the way they parked
Oh,
the
that's so
cars.
stupid.
And I'm like, dude, can you just give us like more space? But whatever.
Right.
And so we parked, and it looked like we were so close to our car. And this homie came out, dude. And when I say fucking homie, I mean like this guy's definitely done some questionable
He's a
things in
foo.
his life. This fool, yeah, this law-abiding citizen. This is put that guy.
Yeah.
Who you do not want to mess with because this fool looks like he's gone. He knows how to throw down.
He's been
Probably went to
incarcerated.
county.
Maybe.
Maybe gone to county.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he might be a freaking the nicest guy ever. But anyways,
He's from La Onda.
he definitely from La Onda. He comes out and he's looking at our car super crazy.
Oh, that's
Fucking
weird.
hella crazy.
Yeah.
And my brother goes, fuck, dude, I think I parked too close to this fool. He's gonna fucking start shit. And Juan's like, fuck, dude, let's just go out. And he's like, fuck, just throw a fucking punch or two and just let's see
Oh,
what
dude, I
happens."
love your brother so much.
Yeah, my brother, like we got out of the car thinking this guy's
Oh.
gonna fucking fuck us up right
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
And
yeah.
there's nothing we can do because this fool can definitely beat our ass at the
Yeah.
same time. So we're like, if we can just land one or two.
Oh, I
and just
love that
pray
so much.
And pray that he doesn't kick us in the head when we're fucking knock out. That's all we want. Like those are like
Yeah.
the rules we want.
Just some glory.
So we came out and I'm like, all right, well fuck it. Let's time to face this ass whooping.
Yeah.
We get out, and the moment we step out, a homeboy comes up to him. He's like, "Hey man, you guys cool?" I'm like, "What's up?" It's like, "Are you guys cool?" I'm like, well, "What's going on?" So no, I think I parked too close to you guys. Are you guys cool? And I'm like, "Oh yeah, we're cool." And it's like, "Are
yeah,
you cool?"
you
It's like,
thought
"Oh,
whether.
yeah."
Yeah.
And
See?
he's like,
oh,
and
man.
he's like, "Oh no, I'm cool." Oh, yeah,
Dude,
yeah,
but
yeah.
see,
Hey,
that
go
is such a
Dodgers.
weird choice. I mean, he meant it well, but totally because of
Yeah.
what you guys were prefacing the situation.
Yeah,
And when you hear that, when you're insecure about the situation, which
Yeah.
I could relate to because that's how I am too,
yeah,
you're immediately thinking he's being hostile.
yeah,
But he wasn't. He was actually being, and that's the scary thing about words
yeah,
is sometimes you could say the same thing and just if
Hmm.
just a little different, it means
Yeah.
something completely different.
No,
So
and I
that's kind of it's
remember,
good that you guys were reserved and not like, yeah, well, what's up then with you, motherfucker? And then
yeah,
like,
no. So homeboy was tripping because he thought he was tripping off the
yeah,
same thing we were tripping.
right, you
We
guys were
parked
on the
next to each
same
other.
page.
Yeah, so once we both were like, "Oh, no, we're cool. You're cool. Cool, cool. All right, carnal. Yeah, hey, go Dodgers, man. Fuck the Giants. All right, carnal.
Yeah, yeah,
We're
yeah.
freaking pounding Modelo's with this fool in the parking lot."
Oh no, that's
You
cool. Yeah,
know? So it was just like it was just crazy because we're like, "Fuck, we're gonna get our ass beat."
dude.
But no, we were like, it's all family when we're there.
Yeah,
Apparently, it's all
but that is the
family.
perfect segue into the masculinity subject.
Absolutely.
And you know what? I don't give a shit what kind of negative connotations come from that or what you just talked about. I love that
Yeah.
part of masculinity. I love
Yeah.
that most men understand that there's a code that
Hmm.
most people that aren't men don't understand at all. And that
Yeah.
code is simple. It's like it's a respect thing.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
and Juan knew to analyze that situation from the outside perspective. You probably
Hmm.
could do a better job, but my take on that was Juan understood that he potentially made a mistake.
Yeah.
Not he didn't do it to be an asshole. He just
Yeah.
understood shit. This guy's probably thinking I'm a cock, I'm an asshole, and I'm just
Yeah.
trying to, and I don't give a shit about anyone else because I'm the
Mhm.
same way. I'm like, fuck. You don't want to put yourself in a hostile situation.
Right.
So I totally get that. But what I love about it was at the same time, he acknowledged he made a mistake, but he
Hmm.
didn't come out of it with his tail in between his legs. And and like you said, they're like, all right, well, you know, I mean, he's got a right to be pissed off, but
Yeah.
if he wants to
But at the
start
same
some
time,
shit, I'm ready
it
to
wasn't
go.
it wasn't our fault. It was the stupid
Right.
person telling us
And
where to
even if you
park.
park close, you can always ask to move. It doesn't have to just go to this aggressive macho
Yeah.
bullshit, which you were assuming was going to happen because let's be honest, most sporting events are
Yeah.
just that.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of fucking male egos
Testosterone
just
fucking
blowing on each other.
yeah.
But no, I respect that and I enjoy because the rebellious and the punk in me as well definitely relates to that mentality where it's like
Yeah.
you got to be ready to go, man. It doesn't mean you're gonna win. It doesn't mean you're gonna look like Bruce Lee, but it means you're gonna stand your ground and not cower. You
Yeah.
know, that's what I like. I think that's not even. I don't think that's manliness. I think that's just self respect.
Yeah.
Women have
And
it too. You know.
yeah, and it's just like yeah, I was remembering that I was telling that to somebody a couple days ago because I remember I went to a Raiders game and there was this guy it was Raiders versus Rams
Hmm.
and we met some fool right across from us. He came up from LA and he never told us his real name. He just told us that he went by Speedy. That was his nickname.
Yeah.
And he even had a tattoo in the back of his head. It says Speedy. So okay.
You're like,
So
okay, here we go.
this gentleman was Speedy, Mr. Speedy. And like him SoCal Rams fan over here were, Raiders.
Right.
We were chatting with each other, we're talking, it was all fun and games because there was
Yeah.
that code like, hey, as
Right.
long as you're being cool, we're gonna be cool
Right.
also. Started talking about Dodgers and we're like, hell yeah, and he goes, yeah, he goes, yeah, well, the Rams are back in LA, so I gotta rep the Rams, LA left Raiders left us, and he's like, but he's all, I'm not gonna lie, I love coming up to Raiders games because y'all remind me of Dodger games, it's just family,
Right.
everybody's here, it's always family, and that's cool, man. That's our culture, it's just like,
Hmm.
I think it's and it is true. I feel well. I mean, having gone to like a lot of football games or different pre games and shit, so
Right.
I wouldn't know how it is anywhere else. But definitely have a sense of community of like a
Oh,
belonging
the
and stuff.
camaraderie. Yeah. It's
And it
fucking
goes down
beautiful.
to and it goes up to like it might be masculinity ideologies, but like yeah, it's just having respect for others and
Yeah.
like even if you see a guy that you fucking hate You
Mhm.
know, if that person still approaches you and says hi to you, you're not gonna ignore and be like, "Oh, I don't want to talk to you." You're still gonna say, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" You're gonna shake their hand, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, anything else is disrespectful.
Maybe we're just gonna be like, "You're a bitch."
Like last week's story you're talking about, I'm pretty sure if homeboy would have come up to you and like, "Hey, what's up, Coop?" You would have said, "Hey, what's up, man?" And that would have been, you're not gonna like ignore him or something.
Yeah.
It's just like a thing. But instead, he saw you fall, and that was pretty funny.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, he's an asshole. He might have had a
But
reason to laugh, but still.
but I mean, if you see him next to the freaking, if you're next to him at fucking Trader Joe's, and if he
I'm
says,
gonna
"Hey,
trip him.
yeah," if he's gonna tell you like, "Hey, what's up?" or he does like the what's up now, you're gonna respond back with the what's up now, and that's it.
Maybe.
Perhaps. Okay.
No, yeah, that's what I should do. I don't know what I'd do. I probably would, but then I wouldn't say anything else. It would just be a nod.
No,
It wouldn't be a
that's
what's
all you
up.
do. You just do the nod, and
Because
that's
that's
it.
like the bare minimum. That's not even like,
Yeah.
if I like you, I'm not doing that. That's either I don't know you or I don't like you.
Yeah.
If
And this,
I'm always more personable, but I get you. That's a respectful way to just kind of not be like a little bitch, I guess, right?
yeah, I ran into so many people at Disneyland who I've never seen or never talked to a day in my life.
Right.
But
But you
see 'em, like,
recognized them?
yeah, it seemed like at the cave,
Right.
Eastwood, driving around the East Side, and you see him over there, and you do the same thing. Like you kind of double take, like, oh, and then you're like, oh, I know that guy, and then you just do the, hey, what's up, and
Oh,
that's
what's up,
it.
dude?
And then you're just
Yeah.
like, hey, I know you from San Jose. But with that being said, it's that camaraderie thing where like, if somebody starts messing with that fool, you're gonna back that fool up.
Oh, yeah.
Because San Jose,
Loyalty.
East San Jose, yeah. The dependent situation also. I'm not about to get 86 from Disneyland.
No, I'm not gonna do that at Disneyland. Only family gets backed up at Disneyland,
Yeah,
or like,
100%.
like not blood family. But if I was there with you, Danny, I would throw down. I would I would punch Mickey Mouse if I had to.
No, because I don't want.
No, I wouldn't do that. Well, I
Because I
would
know
if the kids weren't looking.
you'll probably try to stop a fight or whatever, but I
Nah,
don't want you to get kicked out because then Steph is gonna get mad at you, and then Steph is gonna be mad at me for making you get
nah,
kicked.
she'd just be mad at me. She's pretty good at just. She's pretty good at that. I always get annoyed at the significant others that blame the friend because I'm like,
Hmm.
I get you, I get what you're saying, but to just assume that your boyfriend or husband is so weak willed that they can't make their own choices, like
Yeah,
that's kind of shitty. But
yeah.
anyway, that's a subject for another time. Let's get
Oh,
into
absolutely.
this.
All
Finally,
right, let's
myth
do it.
number one: a
Hmm.
man's man is big, brave, and strong. Now, instead of just reading this, Danny, what's your definition of a man's man?
See, that's the myth. I think that's the myth right there. Like they're big, they're brave, they don't express any emotion or
Right.
anything like that. Very reserved, and I like maybe at the beginning, like when I was younger, maybe yeah, I would agree with that. Oh yeah, a guy never cries. Like, oh well, you're gonna cry, you little sissy, you're gonna cry.
Yeah.
Like, think of Joe Dirt when they make fun
Yeah.
of him.
Oh yeah, yeah. That shit's
That flipper
hilarious.
sucks.
Fucking- wasn't that Kid Rock?
That was Kid Rock going. That flipper sucks.
What are you gonna
Um,
cry? No, they
you gonna
don't.
cry? No, you gonna cry? You cry, little
No.
sissy? No. And he
Oh my
can't fucking
god.
read. Like, see,
Oh yeah.
if you see Joe, anyways, but I think now
That's a
I'm
good
older,
movie.
I don't think a man's man is big, brave, and strong. I now my definition of a man's man is like somebody who just knows how to get shit done and doesn't panic during situations.
Yeah.
A person who's like, fuck, I have to do this. This sucks, but I have to do it.
Yeah.
So you're kind of doing things that you know is freaking painful or it sucks, but you have to do it because you have to get at the end of the day it has to be done. And for me, that's a man's man, like just a person who knows the
Yeah.
responsibility and doesn't remove themselves from that responsibility, has to do a responsibility kind of thing. So for me, that's a man's man. It doesn't have to be brave, has to be strong or anything. It's just
There's two
doing
things
your
that
things.
cuz Yeah. You could, I mean, it's such a subjective question, but for me, I go with two words because
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking about this too. It wasn't just like I had this figured out. Loyalty and respect.
Yeah.
Um, that's kind of like to me a man's man. Like loyalty and aspect of, um, it might sound corny, but your fellow man, right?
Yeah.
We all kind of have that guy code, right? It's like you don't always snitch out on your friends, or you don't like, you know, I'm not gonna call it bro code, but you don't, it's just like an unwritten law of like things you do and you don't do, and loyalty, like you said, having your brother's back or just having your homies back, and then
Mm-hmm.
respect, kind of like what your brother did, where he acknowledged the fact that he potentially put himself in a hostile situation, but he respected the situation. He respected the situation. He respected the dude. He sized him up and gave him the respect of saying, I might not win this, which I
Yeah.
respect because I think anytime you're going into a fight or an altercation, you never want to assume you're going to win. I feel
No.
like that's probably one of the worst things you can do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a man's man to me is pretty much kind of like your brother in a way. A lot of ways your brother. I feel like maybe. I mean, it's been a while since I've hung out with him, but he's always been that kind of. You know, I want to use the word rambunctious, but I don't know if that's the right word. Somewhat feisty,
um.
and but I think he's probably more mellow now.
Absolutely. I think definitely more mellow. He's definitely more
He's still got
mellow.
that fire, though. I can tell.
And I think I mean that's just this part of his freaking character. He's
Yeah,
an asshole like that. But he I think also other things were very like we're very serious, but we also take things like lighthearted. And we always like laugh
yeah.
about things. We'd rather be laughing than being pissed off. We try not to make everything to a freaking pissing contest.
No, dude,
And
and that's definitely an age thing. I'm
mm-hmm.
glad that we're all. I'm glad that we're relating to that because, God, we were probably really annoying 10, 20 years ago. For sure. For
Imagine.
sure.
Oh
You kind
god.
of went on this too. Myth 2 is a man's man isn't emotional and doesn't express affection. Obviously, we've had episodes before where we disagree this and we even refute it with our own personal examples.
Mm-hmm.
You wanna do the next one?
Yeah.
Numero tres.
Número
I know how you like
tres.
your threes.
Mm-hmm. Número tres. A man's man isn't weak and shouldn't cry.
Isn't that very similar to myth number 2?
And also
See,
number
this is why
one.
I should proofread these articles and not shame on me for
No,
that.
no, but
It's very redundant so far.
isn't weak and like okay, in a week that a person shouldn't show any emotions and shouldn't show any weakness by crying. And yeah, I mean we just
I feel like that's
brought
1
up
and
Joe
2
Dirt.
combined.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean Robert Smith, um, great man, by the way, a man's man,
Yeah.
if you will.
The Cure, the lead singer of The
The
Cure.
Cure. Yeah. Oh, actually, speaking of the Cure, look, this is what I got. This great shirt right here. It's the Crow, but instead of the
Oh,
Cure.
that's cool, but it's the crow font and it says The Cure.
Yeah, yeah. It's
It's
great,
Brandon
great
Lee
shirt.
right there.
Rest in peace,
It's
Brandon.
Bruce
A
Lee's
man's
son.
man, if you will.
Yeah.
A man's man. But yeah. I mean, there were songs about men don't cry and
Oh, Boys
you
Don't
know
Cry.
boys don't cry.
Right.
Yes, boys don't cry. And but at the same time, it's very like doesn't make sense because like in Spanish, there's a lot of like songs about guys crying over a girl,
Well, dude,
over a
even
woman.
cowboy, like country music that's super macho. Well,
Yeah,
maybe not to everybody, but that,
yeah,
it
yeah.
started
No,
that way. It's about that too, man. It's about
yeah.
crying, girls gone, fridge is off, beer's warm.
Life shitty,
That's it.
kind of thing.
You know?
And
Truck broke down.
yeah, and I mean, most definitely, I, I think that's what got us to this situation that because we have to quote unquote man up and be a man and show no emotions and we shouldn't cry or talk about emotions. This is
Yeah.
what leads us to this, situation that we're both in right now.
Oh yeah. Which is we're using honesty and
Mm-hmm.
and to get through this.
Yeah.
You got to call it out, man. And I want you to do myth number 4 because I think that's probably going to be my favorite one so far.
This is so right. I can tell you this is really bullshit, but a man's man is an expert on sex. And I mean, before we started recording, I was just
Right.
talking about this, how I literally this week in my the classes I'm teaching, we were debunking what it means to be a woman, like, the false beauty and
Right.
being seen as objects. And today we did the ones for men. And yeah, same thing, like a man is like, he's a player, he's all the girls want him. He's has X amount of, sex experiment experience and
Right.
stuff. And I was having this conversation, a while back with some of my coworkers about this myth. And I feel like this is a lot of pressure for guys. Like, just like there's pressure for girls, like,
Yeah.
to look a certain way or be, sexy or this and that. Like, for guys also, like, you're in there expecting to know what the heck to do and how to, like, all of this stuff. And there's a lot of like stress and a lot of pressure, on the guy, period.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I can't believe I'm about to talk about this once again, but if we refer to WAP by the great Cardi B,
Oh God. Yep.
I mean, the whole song is she's talking about how she wants a man to do this and that and this
I'm just
and
proud that I guessed what the acronym stood for without ever hearing the
yeah.
song. I was like, "Oh, what does that mean? Wet ass pussy?"
And you're like, yeah,
Oh.
bingo.
And they were like, "Yeah, it does." And I was like, "Well, figured that mystery out.
What that's what it mean.
I could sleep better." I just thought it was a racist term for Italian people.
You gotta put D-Wop before you gotta
No,
put
but then
D.
you had Fetty Wap. So is he Fetty wet ass pussy or what's going on here?
Baby, would you come my way?
That's
Maybe.
what he was talking about.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe that's what he meant with Fetty.
I
Can
don't
we go
know.
behind the
Yeah, I don't.
music on this one though?
We
No,
need to
but
debunk this. Yeah.
but no, definitely I feel like there's a lot of pressure for for boys to like lose their virginity like in a certain age.
True.
and and to know about certain things about certain sex and be a freaking master in bed. I mean, if I turn on the television right now, all they're gonna be selling me is like pills about
Yeah, Blue Chew. Right.
yeah,
Right.
about all this stuff. And is very like it creates a lot of stress. It creates a lot of stress. It creates a lot of like anxiety, I think, for like a man to perform. And and then not only that, but also like one of my biggest issues with my anxiety and my depression was like, well, shit, my life, my professional life is falling apart, and my personal life is falling apart. What are people gonna think about? Me in my mid 30s, never married, single, not even a girlfriend, and let's call it what it is. In my culture, when you put all that things together, it's like, oh, he's gay. It becomes this thing where like, it becomes this
Yeah.
like inside, like, oh, he must not be married because he's gay, or he's single because he's gay, or he can't perform in
Yeah, and
life, like he
see,
must be
I think
gay.
that's a thing of the past. I don't think they're going to be doing that in 10 years now.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
we didn't have the pride and all that. I mean, we did, but it wasn't as well supported in the gay community as
Yeah.
it is now. So I feel like a lot of the stigmas that we grew up with are definitely on their way out. And that's, good. We don't need all that shit attached to people just because they fall under a category. No one likes to be generalized. I'm going to be a little devil's advocate, not just for the sake of argument here.
Yeah, go for it.
Because this is the way I look at it. A man's man doesn't mean that's who I am. It's
Okay.
it's not necessarily who I am. It's who I want to be, who I strive to be.
Okay.
And you always want to put that as something higher or better than what you're doing. I think even regardless of whether it's attainable, because it's just something to get your ego kind of like ramped up. Because we kind of got to talk ourselves up in situations, there's not always a situation where you're ready to go, man. You kind of got to get a fluff, you got to get fluffed up and ready for the
Yeah.
scene, So For me, I ain't no Casanova, man, and I ain't no I ain't no Lexington Steel, if you know what I mean. But that's old school porn right there. But
Yeah, dropping some names on that one.
I want to say, man, I strive to be good at it. I know seven and
Yeah.
a half minutes is pretty much my record that I'm working on. I've tried I've tried thoughts, to distract myself. But sometimes sometimes you just finish early, and
Hmm.
that's what you make up for it with other things.
Yeah.
But no, like all kidding aside, I really do. As much as I say I look up to it, and I do, I think it is something we have to work for when you're pleasing your lover. It's not easy always, but you got to do a little extra, and
Yeah.
sometimes that means you got to do a little searching, you got to do a little hunting, you got to do a little learning,
Hmm.
and that
Yeah.
you got to.
You got to put in the work.
But don't always assume that one, you can try things you see online, or that that's actually what you should be doing,
Hmm.
because after after a few pulled muscles, and yeah, I could definitely say I'm not ready for the Kama Sutra, but
You're
I
not.
you
You're
know
not
I,
staying anytime soon.
I'm gonna try a new thing every once in a while. You gotta spice it up. And
Yeah.
no, I don't know if that's even going with what we're saying, but I think what I'm trying to say is sometimes I understand. I think we are flawed, man. Like the male race is flawed, just like anything. But
Hmm.
we're flawed in a way where I think we're genetically ingrained to be proud of our arrogance.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. Part of me likes it, but part of me understands. I mean, obviously it's not right, but part of me kind of appreciates our imperfections as men.
Do
And
you
and
think
I'm
it's like
I'm
a
a
safety
proud
net?
male. Like, I know we're not perfect, but I'm proud of how we are for the most part.
Hmm.
Like, I'm a proud male. Like, I don't know the word for that is. I'm not the feminist. I don't know. I'm not chauvinist, but I guess that's the word. Like, I'm proud of the male race.
You're masculine.
Yeah, I
No.
guess. But whenever I hear masculine, I think of someone that's like, and that doesn't make sense because whenever I hear masculine, I think of muscular.
Yeah.
See,
Okay.
maybe that's a myth, and that was on there, body type.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. I think the most important thing, I didn't really do a good job of pretty much explaining this as far as what I agree with. I think I strive to be a good lover in the bedroom. So I guess a man's man isn't an expert on sex. But I mean, you think about like a man's man. Bruce Wayne is probably a man's man. He's
Yeah.
probably good at sex. I mean, he's banging all these hot chicks. And he's Batman. No one knows that, but I don't
Yeah.
know.
But we.
He's Batman's probably good at sex, or he's got a gadget that helps him be good at sex.
But that's the thing though. I think that's what this article or this myth
It's
is
not
talking
like
about.
a realistic thing to compare yourself to.
Yeah, and also like okay, let's say if you underperform in bed, does that
Right.
make you any less of a man?
Oh
If you're
no,
still
yeah, I
providing.
definitely don't think that's true because I
Yeah.
feel like that just means it's. It might sound harsh, but I feel like that's just part of failure, and
Yeah.
part of being a man. Because it's not that you need to be a man, but it's like we're men. So part of being a man is accepting failure and moving past it.
Yeah,
Which
and
is
I
a hard
mean,
thing to do when you're in the bedroom. It's a very awkward, sensitive environment where you could be easily insulted or embarrassed.
but here's the thing though, if you remove this myth,
Yeah,
let's say you're not going around sleeping with like
right.
everybody's daughter every other weekend, let's say you're in a committed relationship, or whatever. You're supposed to be having these conversations, and you have to be open to
Oh, with
like
your partner.
with your partner
Right.
and stuff,
Oh yeah, 100%.
you have to, this is where the communication aspect means. And yeah, just because this little part of maybe not that choice of word, but just this aspect in your relationship maybe isn't or you want, and then again where you want to be, doesn't mean that you fail as a man.
Right.
You
I
still
think that's, yeah, I
providing.
mean, that's really dramatic.
Yeah.
And we're
But
dramatic. Our internal voices are probably super
yeah,
dramatic,
but
but
that's where the insecurities come in
right.
also. I think so.
Yeah,
And I think
constantly comparing. Comparing
yeah.
is not a good quality.
No, and I think like at the end of the day, if you're still in there with confidence and like you said, you go the extra mile or something,
Yeah,
to be like, okay, yeah, I suck. I'm not good in this portion,
but I did,
but I'm okay with
I
this over
excelled
here.
well in that department. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of evens out. And I think
Oh, dude, 100%
yeah,
compensation.
and I think what this myth is like, yeah, is very, there's obviously there's people and there's young people that think this way, like, oh, we have to do this, and it's because of
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
that way.
Well, a lot of that arrogance fades
Yeah,
as you get older, and you're
absolutely.
not struggling as much. That's more or less, I think, what it is too. Because I've noticed that the more you struggle, the more it builds character,
Yeah,
and you'll notice that with like young kids that struggle a lot. They're a little more mature
yeah,
in a lot of aspects, and it's because they suffered, they toughened themselves up a little bit,
yeah,
and
and
then sometimes you got to fall to learn how to ride the bike.
yeah, and I mean, if you okay, whatever, you're gonna get one night stand. It is what it is. You just want to have a good time.
Right.
But if you're basing all of this on whatever pop culture is telling you
Oh
how you're
yeah.
supposed to be, then that's deeper. There's bigger
Yeah,
issues.
for sure.
There's bigger issues than that. So yeah, and that's the same thing when like with womanhood, like, oh, like a girl has to be thick, with two C's,
Well, see
whatever.
now, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, the
Yeah,
thickness. That was, and then at that point, that was something looked down on. Like you're fat, you're not in
yeah,
shape. Now it's glorified. I love it because I've always been a fan. But, um, in 20 years, who knows what the next thing is? Maybe it'll be
yeah,
necks. Maybe it'll be necks or ankles. Because
yeah. I
here's
remember
the 80s and 90s were all about huge tits
tits. Yeah,
and
it was
and
all about the boobs.
disgusting ones sometimes, right?
Yeah,
I'm talking like 25-pound kettlebells just ingrained and engulfed in your rib cage.
yeah,
They're just disgusting. They look like they could stop bullets. And
yeah,
that was the thing though, man. That was the thing. It was all top heavy. And now it's kind of the opposite. It's become more of an ass culture.
yeah.
Definitely thick thighs save lives. I stand by it. But
But
that's kind of the new norm. So
and
now
now you're
girls
seeing
want to
all
get
these,
thicker.
women like doing implants on their butt, or they're selling like the Brazilian butt lift kind of
See,
thing
and
to
that's
make
stupid
enhance it. Yeah,
because then that's expensive. So how the hell, unless you're in like a third world country, and even then it's still relatively expensive.
expensive.
It's
Yeah,
yeah, right. But um, the whole I totally blanked out. God, that's terrible. I'm not even high. Why am I blanking out right now? I was going on. I was saying. I hate when I have to do this. But basically, oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. So if you want a bigger ass, ladies, you don't need to get implants. You just need to do squats, deadlifts, and a lot of glute exercises.
hmm
And I speak from experience
and be
because
patient about it too.
you have to be because you got to build that muscle, and it's a very fatty muscle. So it's going to take some time. I personally want to work on this myself. I don't want to have a 60-year-old man ass when I'm 40.
No,
I want
nobody
to look
does.
like the brawny paper towel man from the waist down. I don't know what
Yeah,
that means because I've only seen him from the waist up. But
I
you
want
can
to
use
look
your
like
imagination.
Mr. Clean.
You want to be white?
Well, no, this body wise, I want to
Senor
be.
Limpio?
Yeah, Mr. Limpio.
You know,
Oh,
yeah, it's weird, man. Like, I feel like we all can relate to the insecurities and not always liking what society thinks we should be. But I also feel like right now we're in such a Wild West time for what we can be and what we should be that as much as I think this article is is insightful in some ways. I also feel like it's somewhat becoming outdated.
Yeah.
On becoming, in the sense where this is all still really relevant, but I don't know how relevant it's all going to be in a few years, because society is very much so compensating for this article.
Mhm.
This article right now is stemming from like generations, right? Like the boomer generation that was really closed off, and like we talked about this like many episodes ago, but like, you know, the tough generation, the tough people, they went through so much
Right.
adversity. So their normal is based on their generation, what they
Mm.
went through. And once again, the whole comparing thing, you know, just because they're wrong or we don't agree with them doesn't mean we need them to change.
Mhm.
I don't want people to change necessarily. I just want to know who they are, and I want them to know who I am. And as long as we can somehow find a medium and get along, I think that's the best we can do, and that's what we should strive for, especially with the way our country and society is going right now, where it's very much so about division. It's very
Mhm.
much so about, I'm part of this group and I don't want you part of it. And it's
Yeah.
gross. It's like, it's so funny that people want to unify and they want peace, they want this, but no one's really working for it.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of just building up one side or building up the other, and it's this compensation of power. And it's like, well, if racism's happening to this group, then we want it. You know, it's like, keep fighting fire with fire and see what happens. I mean, eventually, no one's gonna have any limbs to do anything, and I don't know, man. Like, I'm not gonna get on a soapbox and hope things will change or say they should, because I know most people understand they should. I just also realistically know that I think some things are going to happen this year, still this year, that are going to, are going to be big deals, man. I think a lot of people are stressing about this election,
Mhm.
which I think is silly, because, and it's not going to be me defending Trump. It's going to be me defending the fact that the leader of the free world does not make our laws and does not affect us directly.
Mhm.
That's Congress. It's the House. It's just, there's a lot more involved in what
Yeah.
happens with our country and our tax money than just who is our president.
Yeah.
Um,
And if you think about it,
it's
if you
almost
really read the
pointless,
Constitution and how it goes, yeah, the president's just there as a title. The real
right?
power is
He's not even
within.
a lawmaker. So it's like,
Yeah.
people need to understand and do the research, and that's why voting's important, and people reading and reading. Like you said, it took you an hour to vote, Danny. Why did it
Mhm.
take you an hour? Because you were doing the responsible thing, which was to read and make a best judgment call. It's like taking the SATs and just filling in the sheet. You're not even
No.
reading the questions. You're not analyzing, oh, which is the right answer.
Yeah.
I respect that about you, Danny, because, you know, it's really easy to be lazy.
Oh, absolutely.
And no one would have given you any shit for that.
No one would
No
even
one would
have to
have
know.
even known. You
Yeah.
could have not filled any of it in.
I could have just voted for the president and mailed the rest of the
You
stuff
could have
in, and
voted
that's
for
it.
Kanye,
Yeah.
which, by the
Even though
way,
he's
I
vice president.
am pretty impressed that he made the ballot.
Yeah. I saw his name. I'm like, well, he's running for vice president. I'm like, why?
I mean, why not? Arnold
At this point,
Schwarzenegger ran for governor. Jesse
Jesus,
Ventura was the
that's
governor of
right.
Minnesota. Ronald Reagan was the governor of California. He was an actor at the time.
And
I mean, there's a
Clinton
lot of,
was president.
it's nothing new. I'm not saying he's a fit or a good candidate necessarily, but because he almost doesn't have any, I don't know.
Isn't
I might
Kane?
be Team Easy.
Isn't Kane the ex wrestler now like a mayor somewhere like in Wisconsin or like somewhere like in Wyoming or something? I feel he's in politics now.
Maybe, but
Also.
I don't know.
Yeah,
That's kind of scary.
but I mean,
I mean,
maybe
I
you
know
do
I'm
know
not
about
saying
politics.
he's Kane in real life, but I think the thing that
Yeah.
scares me is that the guy's potentially in charge of stuff that could have CTE. A little scary.
But also the other thing I think of, I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. You might have been an actor. Might have been,
Right.
but hey, maybe you do know your shit. Maybe
And
you
maybe you
are.
do. And here's the thing, that's the American dream.
Yeah,
We don't always need to fit the mold to be that person.
yeah,
Sometimes you break the
exactly.
mold. Sometimes you redefine it. And
Yeah.
that's what I like. And I think that's what we all like, even though we don't necessarily, like I said, you may not like Jesse Ventura. You may not like Trump. You may not like Arnold. But the thing that's interesting about all of them is they didn't have political backgrounds going into the position.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they excelled and did well necessarily, but what I'm saying that's interesting about it is it goes with the American dream where if you want to do something, you just got to put the work in and get it done.
Yeah.
And and politics is kind of tough because you can argue maybe it's not the most honest line of work, but
Yeah.
it's still something that someone put their mind to, and that's what they wanted to be in their life. Like, I don't look up to politicians personally, but I
Mhm.
respect people that do because I look up to musicians, I look up to comedians,
Yeah.
and I have to understand that there's people that's their realm.
Mhm.
They don't like stand-up comedy. They like politics. They like debate. And I understand, and I need to, I need to have some level of respect for that as well, because if we all thought the same, it would be a really boring fucking shitty world. And
Mhm.
thank God we don't agree on everything, even though most of the time it drives me crazy. But then
Yeah.
it's like you can't be with someone that always wants to agree. You can't. How fun a conversation or podcast would this be if there's two of me? It'd be terrible.
The surround sound of you. Yeah.
No, it would be the most obnoxious, gut wrenching podcast in the world. If there was two of me, I'd put, yeah, like you said, I'd put one on the left and one on the right, and then I'd tell you to listen with one headphone. But yeah, dude, it's the male stereotypes are a lot of them are true, and a lot of the stigmas are interesting, and I honestly think that the man is going to start taking a backseat to the woman in the social realm based on the way society's leading with a lot of their views and empowerment. I feel like it's become more and more popular to think like men have had their time to do things. Now it's women's turn,
Yeah.
which if I was a woman, maybe I would agree with. But me personally, I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't think you should give any group one chance. It's not like I was part of that team that was telling all the women to work at a cannery or be a secretary with their boobs hanging
Yeah.
out. Like, look, America was a very flawed and backward place
Still
socially
is.
throughout history. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's gotten a lot better.
Mhm.
And here's the thing too. It's not just America. If you go to a third world country, name one. I guarantee you the women are probably treated worse than they are here in
Mhm.
this country. 100%. I don't. I would put money on that. I would even
Yeah.
say in Mexico.
Yeah. There's still the concept of machismo and stuff like that in Mexico.
Right.
Like
It's just
granted,
an
it is.
old. It's an old way. It's an old way of thinking, and it's not necessarily that. And that's the thing I'm trying to get people to understand. Sometimes I feel like sometimes an old way of thinking doesn't mean it's derived from hate.
Mhm.
It's just the way they thought back then.
Yeah.
And some places are a lot more traditional. Like third world countries are very, very key on keeping traditions alive, good and bad.
And I think that's one thing also that we need to think about. It's like, all right, we drive for this change and stuff, but with like in my school, with already me teaching the subjects to students, to like sophomores,
Right.
like this, when we were in high school, we didn't have this type of conversations, we didn't have this
No.
type of talk. So it is slowly changing, and who knows, 10 years from now, we're gonna be, you're gonna see certain things and be like, well, this is way out of date, or like this doesn't even apply to us. Maybe there's gonna be a
Oh,
new
dude.
ideologies and stuff. So
That's probably how our folks were and our grandparents were when they saw what we were learning, and they're like, "Wow, it's a little
yeah.
different than what we did."
And but I mean, at the same time, I feel like they always thought like, oh, back in my days, it was like,
What?
it,
Yeah.
and we got into full circle in a way, because the first thing we said was like, yeah, we like to think a lot of the past with like very fond memories and thinking that the past was better for some reason. But you know, was it really?
It wasn't better. It's just we knew less. So I feel like ignorance is bliss,
Yeah.
and it comes off as a simpler time, but it's not necessarily that it was simpler. It's just our data stream was simpler. We only
Yeah.
had a
Or
newspaper, you know. There wasn't all this noise, dude. There wasn't a phone. There wasn't a billboard attached to your hip. We
mm-hmm.
were so involved with the now on what's going on everywhere else, but we're not involved with the now right in front of us.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing now. I think that's what also when people think about the memory, like when they think about the past or something, they only think about certain things, and
Mm-hmm.
they're eliminating or they're leaving a lot of detail.
Right.
And I feel like that's also what the problem. Because if you really think about it, like, were you really better off 10 years ago, like knowing now?
Right.
Like, was life a way better like back in the 60s, 70s, or 80s?
No,
Like,
it was probably just yeah, exactly.
yeah,
It was just your time. So it's since it's your time, it's defined and it's always going to be your time, but that's all subjective
mm-hmm, absolutely.
like art. Some are worth millions of dollars. Some are worth less than a corn dog from Wiener Schnitzel.
Yeah. And sometimes the frame is worth more than the actual piece of art.
That's true. And don't forget the glass.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, no, the frame do for sure. But I think, we're on our way to we're rebuilding this. We're reworking our engines and trying to figure out how to run a little different than how we've been running. And I feel like honestly, dude, like we've changed even in the last 2 months.
Yeah, absolutely. We're more open to talk about certain things. Now we have a new sense of responsibility with this podcast and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like we're constantly changing.
I'm happy.
Yeah,
I'm
same here.
and we're having a rough and I know it's a rough month for you. And
Hmm.
but it's crazy how fast time goes and sometimes you'll be dwelling or thinking about what's going on, right? That's bugging you, and then you'll realize,
Hmm.
man, in a week you're like, oh my god, it's already been a month since then, or it's already been
Yeah,
3 weeks.
yeah.
It's so weird how fast. Like, let's just say the beginning of this podcast was like early August, which it was.
Hmm.
It doesn't feel like it's been like 2.5 months.
No, it feels like you were just barely starting
That's
this
what I'm saying. Like, it's so
like a month
trippy how
ago.
fucking
Yeah.
time flies, man. And it's a sign one, time flying when you're having fun, but we're getting older and our clock's moving a little quicker. And it's kind of it's nice, man. It's nice to know that this is how we're spending our time and not, doing it
Hmm.
like doing weird things.
Yeah.
We're just putting ourselves out there, having a fun talk, and these talks are cool because it's kind of a social hour for the two of us. That's not
Yeah.
like that's away from our norms or circles and our day jobs. So it's a good therapy.
Is your weekly updates or weekly check-ins, if you will.
That's what it is, man. We're gonna weekly tell you what we're doing during the week.
Faux show.
But she was yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. Ho faux show.
Ho.
But
And sometimes your hoe is not, and sometimes she's not your hoe. No mo
what's that from?
of The Office.
Oh yeah. Michael Scott.
Yeah, I might have misquoted that, but that's
It's
okay.
okay though. If you could, it's okay. Who's your favorite Office character? We'll do one. No top three. You got to pick all time favorite Office character, and then
Oh,
we'll sign off.
it has to be Michael Scott.
Ooh, that's good.
No way around it. Because if it wasn't for
I
him,
agree, but it is such a close second with Dwight.
oh
But
yeah,
no, you're right. Michael Scott's much more important because he's so much funnier to laugh at, and as much as I like Dwight, that show could have survived without Dwight, but it
uh,
didn't do as well without Michael Scott. So
no.
I
Once
I
Michael
agree.
Scott left,
He was pretty much the quarterback of of that
Yeah.
offense.
Once Michael Scott left to Colorado, whatever it was.
Yeah,
It was missing the void. You needed that
it was
boss where
yeah, it was rough.
that weird boss who loved this job way too much, but like everything he did came from a good
From the
place.
heart, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a good show. That's
And he
funny.
just didn't know how
I
to
gotta finish.
express it.
I'm like 3 episodes behind, which sounds hilarious because it ended like 6 to 7 years ago. But
Yeah.
I still got 3 seasons to watch. So one of these days. But yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I just give away that Michael Scott is leaving?
no, I already knew he left.
Okay.
Maybe I'm only like a season and a half behind then.
Okay.
Because I think there was 2 or 3 without him. At least
Yeah,
two.
I think there's 3
Exactly. So
without him.
so maybe I'm 2 behind because I think I saw like half of the Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell was absolutely terrible on that show.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I like him in movies. I didn't like him in The Office.
No.
I was like, this is lame. This is all hype.
I like him in SNL.
Yeah. Not doing that. I like him as the cheerleader. Not doing that.
Yep.
But yeah, dude, I think that's a good way to wrap up episode 13, man. And that's
Lucky
great
13.
that it's Lucky 13. What a better time to do episode 13 than right before Halloween.
Yup.
This might come out right after Halloween. It'll come out right after Halloween. We need to enjoy our holiday. And no one's going to want to listen to a podcast right before Halloween.
No.
But everyone's going to want to listen to a Halloween podcast on Halloween Eve. No, not Halloween Eve. Halloween Eve would be Friday. Post Halloween, because everyone's going to be doing what we're talking about, reminiscing and wishing it was Halloween still. Well, no worries, because this will come out Monday after Halloween, so you can get your little festive Halloween angst out with us.
Oh yeah.
And don't forget, don't change that dial. And don't forget, we do accept bribes.
We do.
We're not above that. We aren't above collusion. If you have an idea for us to help you, never mind. But yeah,
I was gonna say our loyalty can be bought.
Our loyalty can be bought, but not sold. We only have the rights to that.
Yeah. Okay, I can agree with that.
Wait, does that make sense? It doesn't matter.
Loyalty, it's not sold. It's just no, because we want money. So listen, contact us.
Like we'll market price. Yeah, call us for market price. We're like the lobster. We're not gonna tell you how much it is up front. You got to just commit to it, and then we'll be like 65.
Yeah.
Okay?
Then we'll put a price on it.
Should have went with the fillet. That's your fault.
Yeah.
Now you're getting the whole tail. But yeah, like I'm happy with. Yeah, I saw that bug.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell?
I'm like, I saw it earlier too. I was like, that's cool. You got a little firefly in there. But yeah, man, good catching up, and we'll do this all again next week with everybody. So until then, I will say goodbye and good evening.